How's up, y'all? It's popping this D. About to react to another impressive vid. This is Kevin Samuel's Toxic Legacy and Sad End. And Lady Gaga was jealous of Nicki Minaj and wanted to sabotage her. Oh, this sunlight is getting pretty bright. But yeah, we're gonna check this vid out. People told me that Kevin Samuels passed, but I thought people was trolling. Honestly, I only saw it a couple times, and I just was like, all right, and kept it pushing. But then I saw some other headlines that he died, and I was like, oh shit, he really dead. That's crazy. R.P. But I don't know why y'all telling me. Maybe because I reacted to him a couple times, but I react to a lot of people that's gonna die. That sounds terrible. Um, let's just watch the video.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to
I'm
the
so
Impressive
sleepy.
Channel. There are a few things I want to talk about in this video, but before I get into some of the topics, I do want to talk a little bit about some new music. Kendrick Lamar just dropped his new single called The Heart Part 5. This is the first single from his upcoming album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. And I really like the song. I love the Marvin Gaye sample he used. And he was basically talking about the gruesome reality of the hood and the streets. And he touched on crime, violence, incarceration, etc. And a lot of the stuff he was saying is what people consider to be a part of the culture. But it's really a toxic thing when people become desensitized to some of the issues that are going on in society. So Kendrick was really digging deep and warning people about some of these things. He was saying a lot, and the last verse definitely got me the most because he was literally speaking through the perspective of Nipsey Hussle while uplifting people. If you watch the video, he changed into several different celebrities, from Kanye West to OJ to Jussie Smollett to Kobe to Will Smith. And then at the last part, he changed into Nipsey Hussle, and he was literally speaking through Nipsey. And I thought that part was very powerful, very creative, and also a little trippy. I'm not gonna lie. The video was kind of trippy, but at the same time, it was entertaining, it was captivating, it was intense. Kendrick's charisma, in my opinion, is unmatched amongst his peers, and I'm really excited for his upcoming project. I know he has a lot to say because he took a very long hiatus. The last project he dropped was like 5 years ago, so he's going to have a lot to say, and he's definitely going to give the rap game what it's been missing. So I am excited for his new era. Now, moving on, I want to briefly highlight this up-and-coming girl group.
I reacted to them on my Patreon.
Now, I was introduced to Flow some weeks ago. So I saw their video popping up on YouTube. They have a song out. Now, moving on, I want to get into this topic. The rap artist Azalea Banks went on a rant like she always does, and she revealed something very interesting. Somebody asked her if she would ever work with Lady Gaga, and this is the surprising tea she revealed. She said, lastly, no. That woman has zero respect for black women. I cannot ever respect her for literally asking me to beef with Nicki Minaj on her behalf.
That woman ain't say that to you.
And sent a less incendiary song. Insinuates we're going to spill Nicki's human blood. Effing eye roll. What?
Girl.
That sounds crazy.
Nobody
she
believes
also said,
this.
I definitely have those Lady Gaga talking Nicki Minaj receipts in an old phone telling me she wanted to drink my blood and all this stuff about her sneaking coke on her carry-on as if I was supposed to be impressed. Those weak 99 problems with a B81 tweets. Like her deep, deep jealousy and hatred for Nicki Minaj and the sneaky stuff she was saying and trying to do behind the scenes was
Girl,
just
Lady Gaga would never text you
or pop stuff about Nicki.
Why would you think we would believe this?
I will never do a white woman's bidding for her. Tough. Now, when I heard this, I was definitely disturbed. I was more disturbed about the drinking blood stuff. That stuff is really creepy and downright satanic if you ask me. I don't know what that's about, but that sounds like some Illuminati ritualistic stuff. Whatever, that sounds very crazy, and I'm definitely side-eyeing Lady Gaga. But also the comment about her being jealous of Nicki Minaj is rather revealing as well. Even though Azalea is a bona fide hater, she's always talking down on somebody, she doesn't necessarily lie about certain things. I can actually believe that Lady Gaga was jealous of Nicki Minaj. I think she was jealous of the fact that Nicki was kind of coming into that pop lane and really giving her some competition. And Lady Gaga was feeling the pressure, not just from Nicki, she was feeling it from a lot of people. When Lady Gaga first came on the scene, she wasn't dealing with the same type of competition. She was actually shining in her own lane, and she became very
Child.
successful very quickly. But she did kind of fall off a little bit around 2013. Some people considered her art pop era to be her flop era, and it technically didn't flop, but it didn't do as well as her previous projects. And also around this time, Lady Gaga was competing against some pretty heavy hitters in pop music. I mean, she was up against Katy Perry, Rihanna, Taylor Swift, Miley Cyrus, Nicki Minaj, etc. So she had a lot of competition, and I can imagine that maybe she felt a little threatened. And it's okay to admit that, but I
Oh
do
my
think
god.
it's very messed up that she allegedly tried to get Azalea to go up against Nicki. I think that's very manipulative and very low, if it's true. But Nicki Minaj was not the only one she targeted. It was rumored that she had issues with Christina Aguilera as well because she wasn't a fan of Christina's Bionic era. She kind of felt like Christina was trying to copy her sound and her style. And
Oh,
she
what was
vented
this?
about it to her
What was
friend at the
that?
time, Perez Hilton. And Perez even said, looking back now, it's one of the things I'm most ashamed of. And I could also see that Gaga was using me as a tool, not only against Christina, but against other rivals
Oh,
too.
what?
She
I
never
know it's pop
explicitly
beef
asked
going
me to
on,
write
child.
nasty things about people, but by moaning to me, she made me feel like I, her best friend, should do something about it. So I think Lady Gaga had a lot of things to say about a lot of people behind the scenes. And I just think it came out of her own insecurity. Yeah, she's talented and she solidified herself as a pop icon, but that doesn't change the fact that she might have been jealous of some of her peers. You know, it doesn't change that. So I actually believe what Azalea said. Now,
What?
moving on, I want to
I ain't
briefly
never
talk
heard
about the
nothing about that.
YouTuber Kevin Samuels. I kind of debated on whether or not I should talk about this
Oof.
simply because I don't really talk about anybody who's not a real celebrity. But this whole Kevin Samuels story has definitely been a hot topic. Over the weekend, Kevin passed away at the age of 57, and there were a lot
Oh,
of mixed reactions online. A lot of his followers were sad about it, but there were also a lot of people who were celebrating his passing
that is
because
weird.
he was infamous for belittling women, especially black
But
women,
you don't
on
celebrate nobody
his channel.
dying. Y'all
So there
weirdos.
were a lot of people who weren't sad that he passed away. He disrespected
This
people
world is
while he
sick.
was alive, and now he's being disrespected in his death. And it's really a somber reminder that people have to really be careful of how they treat people, and they have to be careful of the things they say because words are power, and words can come back to bite. And Kevin used to always tell women that they would die alone. Now, I find it kind of
Mm.
ironic how Kevin suffered this very same fate. He essentially
Mm.
died alone because he wasn't around any of his loved ones. He didn't have any friends beside him. He didn't have a caring wife by his side because he couldn't keep a relationship. He was divorced 2 times. Also, he didn't
Impressive.
have children by his side to look after him because he allegedly was a deadbeat father to his own
Ooh.
daughter. So, in his last moments, he wasn't around any of his loved ones. He was with a stranger. He was with a woman that he met the night before,
That's her?
and he passed away while she was right there watching him die. Now, the woman in question was said to be a nurse, and I'm going to say allegedly. She says she's a nurse, but I don't really know. Some people say that that's a cover up. She's actually an escort. I don't know that to be true either, but I do know that she was at Kevin's apartment for one thing only, and that was to sleep with him. And after they had their love making session, Kevin Samuels complained of chest pains and he fell on top of her. And that's when she called 911. And I did hear the 911 call, and it sounded like she was very frantic and very desperate to help save his life. So I don't know if she was
I'm not listening to
responsible
that.
for
That's
his
weird.
passing, but I am interested to hear the details in his autopsy because that will reveal a lot. The whole situation is rather unfortunate, but life came at Kevin Samuels very fast. And while I don't personally celebrate his passing, I can't really expect other people to feel bad about it because he built his platform off of tearing women down. And some people might argue and say, no, he wasn't doing that. He was making women be more realistic about their standards, but that wasn't the intention behind what he was doing. I think he really was setting up women, especially black women, to be humiliated, and he wanted to humble them. He wanted to make them believe that they weren't worthy of having certain standards. Kevin Samuels looked at black women as the bottom of the totem pole, and I want you to hear what he said very clearly.
You can there and they say, beauty is subjective. That's another fallacy. Beauty is not subjective. That's why we have the beautiful people. You can map their facial structure, and it goes to a mathematical calculation.
Oh yeah.
Beauty is universal. And the thing is, we're talking about black women. They are on the opposite end of the spectrum on all ranks. Facial symmetry, even to the way black women are starting to look more masculine.
Black women need to understand something, that your biggest enemy is not a white woman. Your biggest enemy is Marisol.
Who?
Your biggest enemy is the Hispanic woman.
Oh.
She understands how to season food.
What?
She understands sensuality, femininity, and she was raised in a patriarchal environment. And when you're talking about what you bring to the table, these women are bringing tables. Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
So that was just some of what Kevin Samuels had to say about black women. And trust me, there's a lot more where that came from.
Oh, no,
and he knew that this would grow his audience. He knows that there's a lot of money to be made off of degrading black women. He knows that. And he catered to a lot of black men who were hurt and insecure. And he fed them a lot of BS. And he intensified the division between black women and black men online. So I don't think his channel served a good purpose at all. He might have dropped some nuggets of advice here and there, but ultimately he created a lot of division. Now you have more channels popping up where men are targeting black women, and vice versa. You have channels where women are targeting black men. It's just a mess, and it's unfortunate that this is what the Kevin Samuels legacy has caused. Anyway, tell me what you all think about this.
Oop. R.I.P. to that man. I ain't got nothing to say, child. I mean, this man is gone. What we gonna do? What we talking about? What? I don't understand the point of keeping that conversation going. Lady Gaga beefing with or having this secret jealousy of Nicki Minaj. I've never heard this in my fucking life. I've never heard of none of this pop beef going on, but I don't listen to pop, so maybe that's why I'm out of the loop. I'm out of the loop with a lot of shit, honestly, but yeah, that just was odd in my personal opinion, and especially with Azealia Banks saying that Lady Gaga was texting her. Why the fuck would Lady Gaga text you, girl, out of all people? Sure. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about all this. Let me know what other videos you want to watch, and I'll see y'all in the next one.